Konuru a big round of applause. Vinay, come on up. Woo-hoo!
Our teacher told us to be squeezing there.
Test, test. Hey guys. My name is Vinay Konuru, and I'm a junior right now. And I want to talk to you about the power of boldness. You see, for as long as I can remember, I've had this picture, the one that you see up there, hanging on the wall across from my bed. It shows a young boy standing on the beach, standing down tall, menacing waves, with a surfboard next to him. Underneath the image, there's a quote. It reads, "Whatever you do, or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." To be honest, when I was younger, I always thought this quote was kind of funny and kind of just cheesy, because it just seemed like something that you would see on a poster in a random classroom. But then, recently, I've been finding more and more truth to this statement. In reality, what it is it's a testament to boldness and the idea of going the extra degree. The theme of this image has been one that's helped me through some of the toughest decisions I've had to make in recent years. And it's also helped me go to some of the greatest experiences I've ever had. One of the best examples I can give you about the truth in this statement is from a story that begins when I was 9 and first watched the movie Forrest Gump. I heard some of you love that movie. I do too. So, if any of you watched that movie, you'd remember one of the most iconic scenes. It's the running scene. The scene when he's sitting on the porch and Forrest decides to go on a little run. So he decides to run to the end of his backyard and decides that that's not really far enough. So he runs to the edge of his community. It's not far enough. So he runs to the edge of the state. It's still not far enough. So he decides to run all the way to the end of the country. And he didn't really have a goal or an idea or a mission on this run. He just wanted to run. But then something really magical happens during this journey. Every single person that he meets is inspired by his message of spontaneity. Suddenly, they're inspired to follow their own dreams with an unconstrained passion. They're no longer fearing or doubting failure. Forrest changes the lives of hundreds of people on this run through this message of spontaneity. And one of those people was me. I started to treat Forrest like a bit of a role model, thinking of him as a person who follows things even when they seem somewhat impossible. And it became a dream of mine to do or go on a similarly adventurous journey. Last summer, I finally got the chance to make this dream come true. And I took it without any doubt. You see, I read this article called "The Poorest County in America." And it detailed the story of Holmes County, one of the poorest counties that's right now facing a grave problem of it's on the brink of bankruptcy. This article really interested me because it showed me that I didn't really know what true poverty looked like. I didn't know what it meant for a county to be on the brink of bankruptcy. I didn't know what it meant for half of an entire county to be jobless, or almost an entire county to be living on welfare. Me and my brother, we really wanted to figure out the answer to these questions. And with Forrest Gump in mind, we decided that we wanted to bike around the entirety of this county, talking to as many people as we could, and learning from their experiences. But just like anything, we had doubts about going on this trip, because we didn't know what other people were going to think of us for doing it. We thought they might think of us like we're crazy for going on this idea, for pursuing this idea. They're going to think that we're just insane. But then we didn't listen to these doubts. And if we had, we would have never actually gotten the opportunity to meet a lot of these people. The greatest treasure of this trip was not the actual biking. The greatest treasure of this trip was the people that we got to meet. There's two people whose stories that will stay with me forever, and I'd really like to share them with you today. One of them is from a man named Derek. He's about 50 years old, and we met him on the side of the road in about 10 miles from any other town. He'd been living in Holmes County his entire life and dropped out of high school at an early age to help support his family as a farmhand. But when the farming industry started to suffer in Holmes County, the farmhands were the first people to go, and suddenly Derry and a lot of his friends were left jobless, and some of them even homeless. But one of the most surprising things that I found on this trip and talking to him was that none of them were hopeless. You see, they all still had dreams and they all still had aspirations, and they were still working extremely hard to meet them, working from morning until night to do anything they can to follow them. Derry was still extremely proud when he showed us his trailer home, even though it was tattered with holes and patched up with tarp, because he was proud of all that he'd accomplished without much help. He explained that he was still genuinely happy of all that he'd done in his life. And this was a common theme that I noticed throughout Holmes County. Holmes County wasn't just a story of poverty. It was also a story of hope and hard work. Another story that I'd like to tell you was from the local sheriff. We asked him what types of crimes are unique to Holmes County, because he'd worked in other such areas before, and we wanted to know what types of crimes he'd never seen before. He told us about the story of a man. He was a farmhand, and he broke into the local grocery store in the middle of the night. There was nobody in the store except for one camera that was watching him do this. He runs over to the local bread section, grabs a slice of bread, runs over to the condiments section, gets peanut butter and jelly. He sits on the floor of the store, and he makes himself a sandwich. He eats it, and he passes out of exhaustion. The next day, the police found him there, arrested him, and sent him to jail. This story struck me so hard because it showed me the state of desperation that many of these people were in, and what they were willing to do just for something as simple as a sandwich for me. But what does this all have to do from that quote from Goethe, the one about boldness? Well, you see, I actually was much more doubtful about making this trip than I initially let on. I was scared about what other people were going to think of me for doing it. I thought that they were going to think I'm absolutely crazy. But then, if I had listened to those doubts, I would have never gotten to meet those people, and I would have never gotten to learn from their experiences. And I probably would have regretted it for the rest of my life. That's why I urge you, it doesn't matter how young you are, if you have any passion or goal or dream or aspiration, follow it. You'll be incredibly happy that you did. If you get anything from this presentation, I want it to be that the power of boldness is immeasurable. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Vinay? Oh, we do. Okay.
So what are you trying to point out?
Well, to point out here, I think he said to be bold. Go ahead, I'll let you finish that.
So I want to point out the fact that a lot of the time when you have this idea, you start thinking about what other people are going to think about you if you follow that goal, or you start doubting your own idea. You might think it's kind of silly, or that it's already been done, or a lot of things go through your head. I want it to be that you get from this presentation that just go for it. If you're bold about it, and you follow it with everything that you have, things will succeed. Things will be much better than what you expect. Your doubts usually hold you back.
Thank you. Another one.
About how old were you when you took this trip?
This was actually this summer, so I was 16. And my brother was 20. Back there?
Did you go all around Sarasota County?
Oh, this was in Holmes County, Mississippi. I'm sorry, I should have made that more clear.
What happened to the sandwich man?
What happened to the sandwich man?
Oh, he was held in jail for a couple of months. Yeah.
All for peanut butter and jelly.
Not at all, actually. It was actually much more practical than
A good question. He asked, were you made fun of for doing this trip? Which a lot of us think that we're going to be, but you were bold by taking that chance and you weren't made fun of. Actually came back to find you and shared the story, and